This is Marc Kramer, Senior Lecturer of Entrepreneurship at VinUniversity and host of Asian Founders and Funders. Today, I'm interviewing Nho Dinh, co-founder and Chief Operating Officer of PingGo. Nho, welcome.
Yeah, hi, nice to meet you, Mark. Hi, everyone.
Well, it's such a pleasure to have you. So let's start off with what is PingGo?
Okay. Yes, PingGo is my startup. I joined more than a year now. We started PingGo in 2022, building it as a B2B distribution platform. We try to be a bridge between the brand and distributor and connect the brand distributor directly to the retailer.
And what made you all come up with this idea and in Vietnam?
Actually, we have been in the technology industry for many years. So when we look at the distribution industry, we see that we can use a lot of tech and big data to make the distribution industry more effective. And when we look zoom in details for the distribution industry, we see that the supply chain in the distribution industry is really long. The merchandise had to go from brand and distributor and through many middle layer, many wholesale in the middle layer until the merchandise reach the retailer. So we want to build a bridge so that we can connect the brand and distributor directly with the retailer so that the flow of goods, the flow of merchandise in the society can move more quickly and more efficiently.
So are you talking about the brand? So if I'm a jeans manufacturer and I manufacture for Levi jeans, you're not talking about that. You're talking about if I created my own brand and was
Yeah,
selling
that's
directly to
correct. That's
retailers,
correct.
you're trying to reduce the number of layers, meaning I can make more profit if if I have my own brand. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And not only you as a brand, you can make more profit, you can also have other benefits when working with us. For example, with the traditional distribution channel, you don't have the data about the retailer network in the market. But when working with PingGo distribution platform, you can have that kind of data. We set kind of data of retailer network to the brand, so that brand can know that what kind of retailer will be most suitable for them and what are their retailer network is located and how the brand can best serve the retailer with our data.
And what did you all do before you started this company?
Okay, that interesting question. Actually, I'm a finance student. I graduated valedictorian in the corporate finance from National Economics University. But after working in finance for only like few months, I found my passion with the tech startup. And I work in tech startup for like 8 years now. And previous to PingGo, I work in VNPay. You might know about the
Yes.
name VNPay, VNLife, yeah. And I worked there for more than 4 years and have been in the core team of the payment solution. So when I work in the payment solution, I see that the SME in Vietnam is really booming, especially the individual who are working in the online selling. So with PingGo, I'm trying to solve another problem for the online seller. So it's not about payment anymore. It's going to be about the source of good. The retailer, when working with PingGo, they can have a really good and trusted source of merchandise, so they can buy the product from us and then sell it to consumer. Yeah, so that's the reason why I joined PingGo.
So, who actually, I mean, you're one of the co-founders, but how did the idea come up? And
Yeah.
wasn't there other people doing something similar to this in Vietnam?
Yeah, the idea actually come up from our founder, Mr. Đặng Công Nguyên. So Mr. Nguyen is a serial entrepreneur in the startup Vietnam market. He has started like few company before, especially in the MarTech and big data industry. And when he want to apply the big data and technology into distribution channel, he come up with this idea. And he invited me to join as a co-founder so that I can run the business and the operation of the startup.
What a phenomenal opportunity. And what's
Yeah.
really interesting, I've lived now here in Vietnam for over a year, and where women in the United States talk about the glass ceiling for women entrepreneurs. Deloitte, the accounting firm, told me that 62% of the CEOs in Vietnam are
Wow.
women. And
Wow.
when you talk to women CEOs here, they look at me oddly and go, "Well, we don't have a glass ceiling here." Uh, do you feel it's fortunate to start a company and run a company as a woman here in Vietnam because there's such a large number of you running companies that there's nothing that stops you from maximizing the potential of the company?
Yeah, I think that like for a woman entrepreneur, we do have some like advantage when running the company, like ability to pay attention to details. Because in startup, I think that idea is only account for like 1%, and execution ability is much more important. And so when it comes to execution, women do have some advantage over men, I think.
Oh, because you feel women are more detail oriented?
I think not only about detail oriented, because like both gender do have the ability to see the big picture, and women, but women tend to pay attention to details, and they are like comfortable to do the details. That
I
is
have
based
to
on my experience.
I have to say my experience is the same. I started and ran a trade association, and
Mm-hmm,
and I have people running different industries, and
mm-hmm.
I found that very few men were very good at it, and the women would always complain. Each of the women directors said, "We need to find a man director," because it was me and 18 women, and we could never find guys who were detail oriented enough to run these different industry groups. So
Nice.
yeah, I find I've had similar experiences to you. What have you liked about the entrepreneurial experience? Why become an entrepreneur? I mean, you probably could have spent the rest of your career working for large companies and gotten a good salary. Why
Yeah.
entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I think like the most attractive about entrepreneurship to me is like the spirit of people working in organization. Because compared to the compared to the big corporation environment, I think that we don't have much resource, we don't have, let's say, don't have much talent, and we have a lot of limitation. But the spirit of startup is really like kind of passionate. When you working with the passionate people, you feel that like the day you feel with joy and like passion and motivation, something like that. And I think that when it comes to working, if we can work on something we like with people we like, and they also have the same passion as us, which can create a really good environment for everyone to try.
So, how do you market? First of all, how many clients does the company have currently?
Mm-hmm. Right now, we are focusing on the providing, actually, because we are distribution platform, so we will serve both sides. We serve both the brand and distributor side, and we serve both the also the retailer side. So from the retailer side, so after more than 1 year of operation, we have like almost 2,000 retailer onboarding with us, and they are still active on the platform to buy product from us. And for the brand and distributor side, we are working with multiple of them, but maybe like less, I think 20. We are working like closely and have the regular transaction with them.
How do you make money?
Mm-hmm. In our platform, there are two ways for us to make money. The first one is through direct trading. So we also have the capital to buy the product directly and sell it to the retailer, and we get the gross margin from that direct trading. And the second one is we provide the B2B solution to the brand and distributor and get some kind of commission fee or service fees from them. So that are
So,
two main revenue stream for now.
so most, they're getting access to use the technology in a sense for free, you're only getting paid for what you actually deliver for them. So if the platform delivers, you make money. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So, for the B2B solution we provide for the brand and distributor, actually the KPI based on different indicators, including both the reach, the engagement, and the conversion indicators. But we try to commit with the brand about the end result, so we can commit with them about the GMV, the revenue, or even the number of orders.
How do you market your services?
For now, with the brand and distributors, because the number of them is limited in the market, so we try to work with them closely and directly by direct sales. And for the retailer, we combine the direct sale method with the digital marketing. We run our digital marketing on multiple platforms like Facebook and Zalo, because in Vietnam, like almost 100% of the online seller will stay in Zalo. So we try to multiple method to reach them in Zalo, from like mini app to ads to get an ad and many other things.
How was the business financed? I mean, did your founder, CEO, did he finance the business himself, or did he raise outside venture capital? How's the business financed?
For our business model, because it's still kind of early for us, so we are focusing on bootstrapping, and we do have some fund from the angel investor. We also think about like we can raise money from VC maybe this year or next year, but for now it's still bootstrapping and angel investor.
Yeah, I think you're not going to have a problem raising capital. I think there's going to be a lot of interest, especially from the United States, where
Oh,
VCs are going to
that's
be looking to
interesting.
Asia, especially outside of China, to go and invest. So I think you're going to have a lot of interest from that. How many employees does the company currently have?
Our team is kind of small. Right now we have 15 people full time, and some people like working as intern or collaborator for us.
How many different competitors are there in this space here in Vietnam?
For this question, I don't think it's like positive or negative, but for the position, we are trying to positioning in the market. PingGo is the first and the pioneer in this. So we do have some substitute or like indirect competitor, especially the traditional competitor. But for like the direct competitor with the same model as us, right now we don't see anything.
And what do you tell potential customers? What makes you unique? What is it that makes you unique that they want to partner with you?
Yeah, for our like a potential partner of the brand and distributor, right now they are choosing us because of our ability to apply technology and big data in delivering the business result. So normally the brand and distributor, they will compare our service to other traditional service provider, for example, marketing agency or the wholesales in the supply chain they already have. But because we do have an advantage about technology and big data, and that is our strongest point, strongest USP. So we will try to focusing on that to convince the customer that they should working with us. And when they working with us already, we will use that competitive advantage to deliver result for them. So customer, they always look at the result, right? So when they look at the end result and say fight good, they can use our service again.
What's your own personal leadership style? I mean, 15 people working for you. What's your leadership style?
Well, I guess my leadership style is more kind of like a servant leadership, because I tend to share with people about like the direction, the vision that we are trying to get in the short run and in the long run. And I will provide them with the tools, resource, and the method to reach the personal target for each of them and align that personal target with the company overall target. So I think it's more like about servant leadership style, not kind of a dictatorship or something. But sometimes, yeah,
Uh-huh.
but sometimes in crisis,
Yeah.
not in PingGo, but in VNPay or other company I work for. In crisis time, I think I could be a dictator sometimes.
Well, I think it's important because people during crisis are looking to the leader to make decisions. And so,
Yeah,
and tell people what to do because they're in crisis. So they want that. So I started 28 different ventures and ran 4 turnarounds. And I
wow.
think that's exactly right in what you're telling me. Uh, this is your first entrepreneurial venture, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I work in
And
the tech industry for a long time, but this is the first time I joined as a co-founder.
so what has surprised you that you didn't expect as a co-founder in your very first startup?
Yeah, actually a lot of surprise because because PingGo is not my it's not the venture I found myself, but the venture I joined later. So
Mhm.
there are a lot of things we imagine before we join the startup, and after we join startup, we find it different. It's not about like true or not true, but it's different. Just different from our like previous experience, different from our imagination, different from our expectations, something like that. But I think the good thing about startup is it's a kind of thing like we find comfortable with the ambiguity and we deal with that. We deal with the problem with everything is kind of vague and we try to find the solution for the problem we're facing. So that like I think anyone they plan to work or to start a startup, they need to get themselves comfortable with the ambiguity, something like that.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
A lot of people cannot handle ambiguity and
Yeah,
the constant state of change. I think that's what makes entrepreneurs so resilient, is that they can handle anything. Even in their
yeah,
personal lives, when things don't go right, entrepreneurs typically don't fall apart because they're just used to it on a daily basis.
yeah, yeah, that's
And
correct.
people ask me when I came to Vietnam, "Oh my God, it seems like it's no transition for you." I said, "I'm an entrepreneur. Transition is my middle name. I mean, you're always in transition about everything, right?"
Oh, that's great. Because you mentioned about there will be a lot of change in the start.
Yeah.
It's not change about the execution or about the way of working. It change about the strategy as well. So sometimes we had to pivot even the strategy. So I think someone who need we plan to work in the start, they need to get comfortable with that as well.
Yeah, I mean, when I write business plans for clients, I tell them half the plan is wrong. And they go, "What do you mean I'm paying for half a plan that's wrong?" And I said, "Because we don't know. Once the battle begins, things
Mhm.
change. And things that we assumed were right, even if we're really experienced, we find out, oh, well, everything has changed. Because if every plan was perfect, everybody'd be rich and there'd be no
Yeah,
losers, right?
yeah.
So that's an impossible thing. What do you find most challenging about being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, that's the first thing. As I just mentioned before, because actually I have been in the tech industry for so long, not so long, but 8 years already. But I still myself have to adapt a lot to accept the fact that the speed of change in startup is so high. That's the first thing I find challenging, but I think I have found a way for myself to adapt with that. And the second thing is for startup, because of the uncertainty in the strategy and uncertainty in the resources we can reach. Not in it's so different from the big corp. So in the big corp, normally we have a really detailed business plan with detailed resource planning, something like that, right? But in startup, we have to planned also, but the plan can fall apart at any time. So that's the thing I think I find most challenging about the change, the lack of resource and the ability to adapt really quickly to any challenge that's raising.
But you also find that you become much more clever and more efficient because you have so little resources to use. Like
Yes, yeah, that's correct. It
even
has
when
to
you
be
read
like
about
that.
other even when you read about other entrepreneurs like Elon Musk, when they're developing SpaceX or working, when he joined Tesla, you find that when they have little resources, people become very creative. When they have too much
Yeah,
resources, there's a lot of inefficiency and waste. Hence
yeah,
why people want to try to keep their companies as small and nimble as possible, right?
yeah, yeah,
That's
that's
really
correct.
important. Do you find that you can have, I never did, but can you find that you can have work-life balance? I mean, I kind of find that there's always one more thing to do. Like I was once asked by someone, are you done yet? Like to go for dinner. I said, do you mean, can I stop now and have dinner? Yes, but am I done? No, because there's an endless number of tasks, right?
I
So
see.
what's your work day look like? How many hours a day you working? Do you have a routine? What do you do?
Yeah, I don't think I can call it like a work-life balance, but I try to be like kind of work-life integration, something like that.
Yeah.
I can, when I pay attention to my work, I will focus like 100% on that and try to not, don't let my personal matters distract the energy I pay attention to the work. And when I'm at home, I will stay like focused on the stuff that matters. So normally I work like 10 hours per day.
Uh,
For when we are in the process of building the new product or like running a quick campaign, I could spend more time for work. But I think I don't have any problem with the physical health, but some stress. I do have some stress with the work because it's not about like how many time, how many hour we spend for the work, but like the constant thinking about the startup is what making me stressful. Yes, and I
right?
think
It
because
never
maybe
leaves your
because I'm the
mind,
first
right?
time founder, yeah, because I'm the first time founder, I haven't found a way for myself to deal with that, and but I'm still trying to find a way to cope with that, and I think eventually with time I can find the peace with the thinking constantly about the startup.
I don't know. I find I'm doing another startup now, and I find that it never leaves your head. It's like
Mhm.
24/7. And so the only
Yeah.
way I can sleep at night, and I sleep only 5.5 hours. So
Oh.
that's it. But I sleep very, very deeply. And when I wake
Mhm.
up, I'm fully energized in the morning. And my own is like I get up at 5:30, read for a half an hour, exercise for an hour, eat breakfast, and then I work until mostly 11 to 12 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
So, but I don't feel it's work because I'm liking what I
Wow.
do.
Mm.
And I always realize, "Ah, I could just, all right, I'll do this, do this. And I find it very hard to turn the off button
Yeah, I can say
when
that
I'm
like
working.
you're not working, you are living with your passion.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
the way to
Yeah.
look at it, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that's exactly how I feel. Is there an entrepreneur that you admire, that you kind of pattern yourself or some of the things that you do after?
Yeah, actually, my favorite idol is the Sheryl Sandberg, from
Uh,
like the former CEO of Facebook, because
yes.
actually one of the reason I joined the tech industry is because of her. When I read her book, and I find a lot of inspiration from that. Like a woman, she can like join in the industry that is growing so fast and contribute a lot to a company like that. So that's the reason why I really want to like experience the entrepreneurship in the role of the COO.
Well, what's it like being an entrepreneur in Vietnam?
Mm, in Vietnam, I think honestly, because I don't have much experience to be the entrepreneur in different side of the world. I have been in the Indonesia for a while, like 5 years ago, because I run a startup in Indonesia market already, and then I come back to Vietnam. But compare Vietnam to other Southeast Asia market, I think Vietnam is really active. People are really active, and it's kind of like the high spirit for entrepreneurship, the high spirit for owning something, for building something is constantly. But it's also the problem that because many people, they want to build their own thing. So it's hard for people to collaborate so that they can build something really big together. So that, I think, is also the pros and cons of being really entrepreneurship spirit in Vietnam.
I find Vietnam, I think, is a great place to start a company. And that's one of the reasons I came to Vietnam, is because I saw the potential to be not just Singapore, but bigger than Singapore.
Yeah,
And Vietnam is a beautiful place for young entrepreneurs to move to, because you have beautiful seaside places and also the mountains, and it's a relatively inexpensive country to be
yes,
located in. And $1 million investment here is about 3 to 5 million in the US, depending on where
yeah,
you're located. So you can do a lot with $1 million investment here.
yeah, yeah.
What does Vietnam need to develop to help the entrepreneurial ecosystem? What other services or what things could accelerate the growth of the Vietnamese entrepreneurial ecosystem?
I think like the startup ecosystem in Vietnam has developed a lot in the last like 5 to 7 years, but we're still lacking something. And like the top of mind will be like some good exit story. Like in Vietnam, we do have some unicorn, some people or people company that reach a critical number of valuation, but I don't see any real successful story about the strategy or exit company, so that the venture and the investor can look at and find ecosystem startup in Vietnam like more easier to invest. So that's the question I am asked a lot by the investor, both local and international. So I think like if we can some kind like have some story like that, maybe from
Some
the
success stories.
yeah, some success exit story from the startup. We don't need to be unicorn to exit, right? You
Yes.
just need the exit strategy or exit story more, so that people can look at that and see that they can exit their investment.
Uh, yeah, I think that's going to happen. I mean, I find that in a sense, Vietnam's 30, 40 years behind the United States, like almost all
Mhm.
kinds of things I find here. I mean, not technologically in the sense of like how your internet works, but how businesses grow and mature. It's just, you're just getting started. And so you're going to start seeing companies like yours have successful exits, and then you're going to make money and you'll start the next one, because entrepreneurs can't be happy just sitting on their money and traveling
Yeah,
or golfing or whatever. They've got to
yeah,
go and start the next one, unless
yeah.
they've been working on the same one for 30 years. And I've met in my own career back in the States. I still remember some of these companies getting started when it was just an idea, and now
Mhm.
one of them sold for 500 million. It was a satellite tracking company when nobody was tracking satellites. This is
Wow.
1990, and you see these things happen. And I have a cousin whose husband created a platform for people who evaluate houses for to be
Mhm.
sold. And luck is such an important part of it. When he started his business, it was when interest rates started going down. And then all of a
Mhm.
sudden, the housing boom started, and they couldn't help everybody. So they created a platform. Before they know it, they were in 50 states and 3 countries. And the Saudi wealth fund bought them, him and his partner, out with no outside investment for 160 million.
Wow.
Walking away with 80 million each, it's a good exit, right? And
Yes.
so now he's got money to go and do other things for sure. So how could, what's the one piece of advice you would give aspiring entrepreneurs, especially here in Vietnam?
Yes, I have like a quote from like some of my favorite author. I think it's really fit to the startup entrepreneur that you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great, right? Because I have met with many entrepreneurs to be that they have many ideas, they want to execute something, they want to build this, build that, but they never did. They never did because they're afraid of like building something and be failure, something like that. I think that to be an entrepreneur, you had to face with like to deal with that. You could be successful, but you could also be a failure. But you need to do the action. You need to turn your idea into a reality, turn the idea into maybe a prototype, something like that, so that can see that if other people, especially the market and the customer, they like it, and then you have a startup.
I agree with you 100%. Lots of people talk about things, but they don't take it to the next level. And it's
Yeah,
the people who take it to the next level. And after that, it's it's out of your hands, whether it's going to succeed or not. Who knows? I mean,
yeah,
there's no way that Mark Zuckerberg knew that Facebook would be this big. He even
yeah.
thought he had 4 startups and he thought Facebook had the least potential.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody truly knows what's going to happen. But if you don't take the step, nothing happens, right?
Yeah, that's correct. 100%.
Uh, Y'all, it's been a pleasure interviewing you. I have a feeling that you're going to be a serial entrepreneur, and this is only just one step in your journey. And I
Wow.
expect that we're going to hear
Thank
great
you.
things from you and that this venture is going to be a success. I mean, you're already off to a great start in 1 year. The number of users on the platform is tremendous. So I'm expecting that there will be a successful exit in the next 3 or 4 years.
Okay, we will try our best, and I will come back and give you good news.
I expect that you will. Thank you so much for taking the time to allow me to interview you.
Mhm. Thank you, Mark.